Welcome to Conversations with Aunt Elizabeth, the podcast inspired by my book, I'm a Registered Dietitian, Now What?, where I have the absolute joy to sit back, relax, and have a conversation about nutrition with a variety of people who share their personal story of passion and purpose, especially registered dietitians. Today's conversation is with Cassie Stockwell and Mikayla Wright, both registered dietitians who own Mamas Maternal Health, a virtual nutrition counseling business specializing in pregnancy and lactation. Please enjoy my conversation with Cassie and Mikayla. We'll have you say your name, your full name, or how you want to be referred to, and what your title is, and then we'll go on to Mikayla.
All right. My name is Cassie. I am a registered dietitian and lactation consultant. I am one of the co-founders of Mamas Maternal Health, and I focus on the infant nutrition aspect of our business.
Okay. And Mikayla.
Hi, I'm Mikayla Wright, and I'm from upstate New York, and I am the other co-founder of Mamas Maternal Health, and I focus on the maternal nutrition. I'm a registered dietitian and also a lactation consultant. So,
okay. Well, I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. You two are my first lactation / pregnancy consultant dietitians. And this is an arena I know nothing about. So I'm excited for you both to share what you do. But first, I would like to start with your journey to dietetics and to your passion of this area of nutrition. So Cassie, do you want to start with kind of how you got into dietetics, what kind of drew you to it, and how did you find this part to be one of your passions?
Sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I guess for me, when I was in middle school, I was diagnosed with a gluten and dairy intolerance. So back then they weren't they didn't do a lot of celiac testing as much. So I never was actually tested for celiac. So that's why I say gluten intolerance. It's a real thing. Well, apparently some people don't believe it's a real thing, but it is.
And you live it, so you know it.
Exactly. But so then I just got really interested in food, and, like before it's just like you eat and then that's, it, you like foods, whatever. But then just got really into different components of food and how different foods affect people differently, and different components of food affect you differently and how you feel afterwards. And so when it came time to choosing a major, I, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but my mom was like, hey, you really like nutrition. And she looked, she actually, and I didn't realize this until after I picked my major, but she had done like food science in college, and essentially the equivalent of the major. She just never went and got her RD certification. But so she was like, this might be a really good path for you. So I looked into it and immediately was like, yeah, that sounds great. And applied to schools with coordinator programs specifically, because I knew once I decided, I was like, yes, I'm going to be an RD. That was basically it for me.
You wanted to get it done. Yes, you knew.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, Mikayla. Now at school, did you two meet each other at school? Is that where you met each other? Okay. All right. Okay, Mikayla, you're up.
All right, my turn. So, similar stories. I'm also gluten-free, but I'm not celiac, but I do have a gluten intolerance. And I had that. Yes. Bonded via gluten intolerances. Right? But we both had it in a time where nobody believed us. Like, it's definitely was like, oh, you're just faking it. And I think that's for both of us that increased our wanting to be with nutrition. But for me, it's also some personal stories I have a very close family member who struggled with anorexia as I was in later middle school. And the emotion behind food became very prominent. And as a young 15-year-old girl watching a family member go through this, it is traumatic, but also you learn so much more about food than just, a balanced plate. This is a vegetable and it has fiber. Like, it just becomes so much more. But then my mom was also diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, latent autoimmune type 1 diabetes when she was 45. So she's very healthy. I mean, she exercises 5 days a week. She eats super balanced, and she was diagnosed with this disease, and she is, of course, insulin dependent. So that was in about high school. And I, again, saw how emotionally connected food is to the human spirit. And that is how I went into nutrition, because I've always been an emotionally focused person, and the science is great, but the fact that what we put in our bodies so much affects our mental capacity and space just really blew my mind. And I just really felt like it was a calling for me. So that's how I got into dietetics. So.
Wow. Well, it's interesting that you both have such a personal, I think that's interesting that you say that emotional connection, because I think a lot of times, maybe even as dietitians, we try to take that hat off and not have that emotional side. But when you have such a personal thing, like both of you having that gluten intolerance and having family members with kind of health issues, you probably are more on that emotional side, that personal side, and what it does than actually that science side all the time. So that's interesting. Yeah. So you met up in college. Who wants to tell that story?
Cassie, go ahead, girl.
All right. Okay. So it all started. No, but actually, really, this is a really cute story. And looking back, it makes me smile every time I tell it. So we both went to Marywood University. We both wanted to do the coordinated program, but we met at our freshman, it wasn't the orientation, but it was the weekend before classes started, and everyone, gets together and all that stuff. And we, there was some event, and we were in the same group or whatever. And we met some people, and she had known some people from a previous event that she'd been to for Marywood, and we were all hanging out. And then we bonded over something silly, and she turns to me and goes, "We should just be best friends." And I was like, "Yeah, we should."
And that's literally how it started.
Pretty much it.
Did you both know that you were going into the same major at the time?
I think so. I think we knew we were going to do nutrition.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we ended up just all being in the same friend group. And then sophomore year, we lived together. We lived together sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. And then we're also in the coordinated program together. There was a ton of us. So literally we were together 24/7 for the majority of our college career.
So we had a lot of growth moments together. Oh, yeah. I feel like the reason why we decided to have a business together is because we joke around and say that our relationship has prepared us for our future relationships, marriages, whatever, because we have had to deal with arguments about who's taking out the trash, who's doing this. And but at the same time, on a serious note, I mean, it's hard to live with somebody all the time. And with dietetics, career, we were in internship together and we were in class all the time. So we our brains, if we liked it or not, because it was not perfect all the time, we had to love each other through it, because that was we were dang it, wow. So we just that's our friendship has gotten so we've gotten so close just because, we're so together all the time.
I'm impressed because I feel like dietetics is kind of a competitive major too. And so to be able to still talk to, your friend from college that you're competing for, spots in a coordinated program, and you're living together. So kudos to both of you, because I don't know if I talk to my college roommates all that much anymore.
Can I just add one more thing?
Sure.
So when talking about competitiveness, there was definitely, Cassie, what year did we do our health cycle nutrition? What was it?
Was that sophomore year?
Or was it sophomore year?
Sophomore year, yeah.
But we were both sitting next to each other, and I'll never forget. When we started doing maternal nutrition, and both of us are oh my God, we love that. And then look at the other ones, I wanted to do it, not you. And it was this moment of who's going to do it. But then
it was
we're
sisters, sisters compete. This is my thing.
This is my thing.
But then senior year, we were you know what? Maybe instead of fighting this was a destined to be moment. And so that is when we decided, let's do it together, because we were like, instead of fighting that we enjoy the same things and that we are hard workers and, work really well together, let's just put our heads together and make this thing happen. So I just wanted to add that because I thought it was
seriously.
It definitely stuck out to you very early in your career, especially during your internship. That's what you both really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did you have then great experiences in your internship with maternal nutrition and health?
Go ahead, Cass.
Mikayla?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Whichever. I guess, so me and Mikayla actually both chose, especially towards the end of it was like the choice rotation, we went to a WIC clinic, and they had a lot of really good breastfeeding resources. And I think everyone should go to a WIC clinic at some point during their rotation, because it hits so many aspects. It hits pregnancy, it hits breastfeeding, but it also goes all the way up to age 5. It puts you, it lets you see a population that you might not see, like in a hospital or setting, like on a regular basis. And there's just so much, you just learn so much in that setting. I just think it's so important. But yeah, we both did that. And they had a couple of really great women there that were super into breastfeeding and super into helping these women, figure out breastfeeding and all that stuff. So that was for me, that was a really good experience.
And then for me, we also, both of us went to Guatemala for a missions trip, and separate times. But when I went, part of what that missions trip was, and it was through the dietetic program, is we would simply give prenatal vitamins to moms that were, it might have just been regular vitamins, but to moms that were breastfeeding or pregnant or in some way helping their infant. And in that kind of intimate environment, it's just the power that is feeding yourself to feed another. Like with other aspects of nutrition in our internships, you see like a healthy diet and it impacts yourself. But when you look at nutrition as impacting you to impact the next generation, it's so powerful. And so I think that we both got a really good grasp on that too with that missions trip as well. So.
Wow, what a great experience to have that. How long were you there?
It was only a week. But it was still super meaningful and powerful. And all future RDs listening, definitely take opportunities to travel and just see what the world we live in. So, yeah.
Very neat. Okay, ladies. So when you got done with your internship, and I'll let Cassie start off on this question. Did you already start that you were like, we're going to start a business? We're not going to get a job? Like, what was kind of your thought process when you got out of your internship?
So we finished our internship, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was May 2018 is when we graduated, and then took our RD exam. Both of us took it over the summer. And then, or like around that time. And then, we both went straight into our master's program. So Marywood was super awesome. We got a lot of stuff when we were at Marywood. Marywood University in Scranton, Pennsylvania, everyone. So we did, it was like a 5-year, essentially is what it ended up being. We started at the end of our senior year and then finished it through that last, like almost as a 5th year to get our master's degree. So in that time, we took a private practice class because we knew that we kind of wanted to go more on that route of counseling. And we were coming to the point where we were like, you know what, like counseling is good. Like, and that's fine. Like we're both at the point, like, it's okay if you counsel and I counsel and all that. But there was, this like private practice class, and I remember distinctly, I was visiting Mikayla and I was sitting in her kitchen. It was probably midnight and we were like sitting there. We're like, I really want to do a business. And she was like, I really want to do a business. And we were both just like, let's just do it together. Like, it just makes so much sense. And so then throughout that year, we worked, in this private practice class, like for the first semester. And then we actually did a mentorship, a little bit as well with the person who taught it. And basically just building our business. So we took that time to create a business plan and to learn about, different, platforms and the ins and outs in business, specifically for dietitians. And then we went and we got our LLC. We went and did
CLC.
Yeah, we did our CLC. Oh, and correction, I think I might have said lactation consultant. People definitely get really touchy about this. We're lactation counselors, but working towards our our IBCLC, which is lactation consultant. So just that clarification there.
Do you want to clarify that? Like, would you mind just speaking to clarifying the difference and what's involved with getting those certifications and education?
Yeah, definitely. So this is something that I've actually had a lot of conversations with some students with as well. But so the CLC, which is Certified Lactation Counselor, it's put on by, I believe it's like Healthy Children's Project. And they do a week-long course. You're in a room with a bunch of other women that are trying to get the certification, learning about breastfeeding for 8 hours a day for 4.5 days. And then you take the test. And then you take this test and then you get the certification. And then you have to do, I think it's 18 CEUs to go along with it. Whereas the IBCLC, so International Board Certified Lactation Consultant, is it's a little bit more intense. So you go and you have to do 90 hours of lactation specific education. The CLC actually provides about 45 of those hours. And then you do, depending on different pathways, you can do it through a university program, you can do it through a mentorship, or you can do it through work. And you have to get, depending on each of those, but it's around 500 hours of lactation, I guess, internship experience, hands-on kind of a thing. And then at the end of that, you sit for an exam. So it's like kind of almost like the RDA thing, but just pared down a lot.
Sure. And just the contact hours too, then.
Right.
Are part of it.
Right.
So you both are working towards that currently?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So we have the hours or we have the learning hours, and we need to get the I guess, contact hours, which we're working on through our business. So works out.
Okay. So do they classify, because your whole business is online, it's a virtual practice, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that will count. You don't have to have that in person, like contact hours, like virtual will count towards that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's awesome. I think probably back in the day, they probably wouldn't accept that, but I think it's great that they're getting that way.
Yeah.
Moving towards the technology.
Yes.
Yes. Thank goodness. Well, you'd have to be, because you both aren't in the same place. So
yeah, exactly. That's why also another reason why it worked out, because we were going to be so far away. So we're like, virtual is the way to go, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. So very interesting. So when it comes to, I know that a lot of people don't have that opportunity of having private practice classes and their masters and mentorship. So I think that's amazing. Again, shout out for your school, because that's pretty awesome that you offered
so
that.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Mikayla, how did you, when you guys, obviously you were living together kind of at that time, when you navigated what the future looked like as far as your practice and being separated, how did you two determine how this was going to work?
Okay. I feel like that's a loaded question. All right. Well, so I give me a second to get to the end.
Sure.
So
no, that's okay.
Cassie was always very, very, very extremely focused on breastfeeding. Like, she loves the breastfeeding. And I was more on the nutrition for the mother, maternal nutrition. And so it became most virtual RDs are for one purpose. So if you go on Instagram and you try to find a pair that is for a business, it really doesn't happen often at all. But the reason why that we have it this way is because in our minds, infant nutrition and breastfeeding and maternal nutrition, although they seem similar, it's a completely different population. It's basically like a pediatric versus, an adult, because you're working with how the infant is fed versus how the mother is fed. So we feel like in order to give our clients the best care that we possibly can, having a dietitian, myself, focus on the maternal nutrition prenatally and postnatally, and having Cassie really ensure that the mother feels confident in her breastfeeding and intro to solid foods really creates a balanced coaching environment. So that's how we broke down the business, because it really played into both of our skills and what we wanted to do in order to impact the world. So that's how we did it.
And I think that's wonderful, because you're right. Like, there are two completely different things when you think about it, and then working together, like you on that end with the mom pregnancy, and then Cassie on the other end after mom has baby. That's pretty genius, I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
So tell me about how, I guess when I think about like maternal nutrition for you, Mikayla, is probably pretty easy to do virtually. Do you see everybody like face to face through like Zoom, or how do you kind of do your virtual practice?
Yeah, so Zoom is the main platform for sure. And, but we also actually offer email coaching. So it's a simplified, somebody is looking for guidance, but doesn't want such, doesn't need as much, help to get to their goals. They're really more just trying to make sure that they're doing the right thing. However, the right thing for them. But then the Zoom calls is when somebody is looking for more accountability and is just looking for a deeper level of guidance for the maternal nutrition aspect. So Zoom, is usually what we use.
What you use. And then, Cassie, are you using that as well? Because I think about lactation is probably a little bit more tricky.
Yes.
I feel like, so talk to me about that.
So that was like one of the things, and actually, in the time we were in the course for like the CLC, they're like, yeah, we heard about some people doing virtual stuff, but I don't know if I don't know how you could actually do that, because it's like difficult, like to actually like see the latch. And so, that's been something that I've definitely focused a lot on. So we do the Zoom call, and we talk. If I need to assess a latch, we either, depending on the connection, because sometimes that is like a really big factor, we'd either, see if we can get a good, so we definitely rely on a partner or whoever is there to kind of help out. But to basically get all the right angles, like how your best friend gets all your right angles, taking a pic.
Yes.
Or we would have them take a video. And then, so this also comes into effect for the email. So they would take a video of, essentially, getting into the latch, and then, the whole breastfeeding session, or even just a snippet of the breastfeeding session, and kind of see like what's going on, especially if there's any problem areas, if like the infant's tucking their chin, or if they start to kind of like lean one way, or those kinds of things, and getting all that in there. And that also allows me to like kind of not in like a weird way, but like zoom in and like check out what's going on, and rewatch it in case I miss something. And so that's kind of been like the biggest asset, because we've been able to, it's there for them to see, it's there for them. So once it's recorded, we can almost go over that with them as well and say like, check this out. This is what is going on. And, so that's been super helpful. So the Zoom, but also just video recording, the latch session is really, really helpful as well.
It's fascinating. I think I guess like I think about if I would ever become a mother, that I would love to be able to do it both ways, just even like maternal health, instead of having to go to your doctor's appointments and then go see the dietitian and then go do this and then go see the lactation. Like, I would just love to be able to sit in my house and be like, okay, I can see my dietitian for maternal health, and I can see my dietitian for lactate, and I don't have to leave my home.
And then a big thing for us with the virtual, the virtual platform is that, moms are going through a lot. They're going through a lot of emotional things. They're going through physical things. They're going through pressures. They're going through, everyone's telling them what to do, and Google is confusing, and all these different things. And being able to be in the comfort of your own home is at least one comfort, So while they're talking to us, they feel comfortable, because, they're not going to feel like they're getting a good coaching session if they feel uncomfortable and not at ease. So that was a big component for us as well.
Absolutely. Now, I do have to ask this question, because I've thought of this in other scenarios, but Do you have moms that say, hey, have you ever had a baby before? Like, do they kind of interview you too? Because they're kind of wanting to know if that you're a good fit to work with.
Cassie, you want to go?
Sure. So yeah, we definitely get that a lot actually, and not even necessarily from moms. We get it a lot from our family members as well. And it's like one of those where it's like, guys, come on, like you're supposed to be in our, in our corner.
Right.
But it's definitely one of those things where we kind of had to be very confident in ourselves, confident in our knowledge. And one of the things that we like to kind of compare is like, people have male gynecologists, people have male like OB-GYNs, all that. And it doesn't, just because, so neither one of us have had children. But just because we haven't had that experience, doesn't mean we don't have the knowledge, or we're not able to help them. And I think it's almost, I guess it becomes more of a relationship as opposed to, your typical clinical interaction, because, we tell the moms, you're an expert of yourself. No one else is an expert of you. No one else can tell you, what you're feeling or what you're thinking during these times. So we're here to help you navigate this. But we really rely on you while you are relying on us. So it becomes more of like a relationship, and it becomes, they're able to trust us. We can trust them. And it just, kind of takes a little bit of pressure off. And so we find that, for people who aren't, we definitely have had people that are like, well, you're not moms. And they don't end up working with us. But for the ones that do, they really feel as though it's just so much more than just nutrition or nutrition counseling, maternal or infant lactation counseling, all of that. It becomes, a community, a relationship. It's like, we're like, we're in their corners. We're like their sisters. We had one say like, it's like we're having like, it's like my baby has like a second mom. Aww. Is what one of our clients said, and it like sticks like out to me forever. I will literally like
that's so
tattooed on my forehead. It's so cute, but yeah.
Mikayla, have you had any experience with that?
Oh yes, this is going to be Cassie and my problem until we have a baby. 20 out of 10. This will be our forever problem. And but no, I will not be having a baby just for my business. Darn it!
Yes,
right?
no. I mean, you could,
but what it comes down for me, and Cassie and I talk about this all the time. We are not selling ourselves as a mom that you can look to. We're selling ourselves and we want to support you as support, as connection, as community. And we can give support through all of the knowledge that we have gained through our lactation counselor, and we're really working on to get the consultant, as well as the connection. Cassie and I are totally emotionally based people and empathetic people. And that is how we want to help our clients. And then in regards to community, we have a growing Facebook community on, for Mamas Maternal Health, and having that community of moms and people who have either are going through stages of fertility, or maybe their kid is 5 years old. They are creating connections. So we are not sitting here saying we are moms. This is how you can be a mom. We're saying, this is support, this is connection, and this is community. And this is how you're going to be feeling confident throughout your pregnancy. So that's how we support ourselves.
That's chills,
great.
Mikayla. I get chills when she talks about it sometimes. I'm like, oh.
Well, I think as dietitians, there's always people second guessing you at some point in your career, no matter what you do. And I feel like you're just in a really tough area, just because, I mean, mom stuff is serious business, right? Like it is and I love that you take that approach of we just want to be part of your community and we just want to support you. And how can anybody think that's not awesome?
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what we think too.
And I also feel like there are, I'm not trying to talk badly about any medical provider, but I just feel like even if there was a mom dietitian entrepreneur, it doesn't mean that they would be better. And that's just at the end of the day, we just need to present ourselves in the most loving and supportive way. And that's all we can do, So I don't think that Cassie and I are always just being genuine about who we are, because this is our career and we just want to love ourselves and our career as much as we want to love others. So just being genuine, so.
Yes. Well, I can definitely feel how genuine you both are in this conversation for sure. Yes, absolutely. So what is your business kind of, when you think about patient load and how everything's going and what do you want to kind of to look like in the future? You kind of have a Facebook community group. You're doing awesome stuff on Instagram. I mean, lots of great, good content. Mikayla, maybe share with me what the future looks like for your business.
Sure. So we are currently, of course, this is social media era, right? So we want to be just constantly creating valuable content for moms, regardless if they're working for us or not, just because we want to keep creating this trust and a bond that we are always there for you no matter what. So we have, we're on Pinterest and we have lots of infographics, like easy to read infographics about pregnancy, postpartum, breastfeeding, that sort of thing. We have a private Facebook group. So that's about 50 moms right now that just share and connect with their experiences. We are able to post blogs and we write about, Cassie does a lot of the blog writing, about 3 a week. And then we have, like you said, Instagram, which I'm on a lot. And we are just so excited to see the growth in the world of mom care, because there's just not a lot of it. And we just love to see the awareness and understanding. Like, we see a lot of there's actually more postnatal nutrition than there is prenatal, because it's more of I want to look a certain way, like I lose the baby fat. Whereas we are so invested in the impact, which is feeding yourself from a loving way prenatally so that your baby will live more healthily in the future. So we really are excited to have more impact in the prenatal nutrition area. So just to, keep continuing to create positive content for our viewers that really is helpful to them, and just creating our mama community. That's all my wishes for. So.
And Cassie, that's a lot of blogs, girl. 3 a week.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah. I tend to do them all on the weekends too. So, I just I found it, I used to do, this was back, over the summer when I was we got to get the content rolling. I did a blog post 5 days a week, every single day, 1 a day. Kind of exhausting. But so what I've done now is, I think over this weekend, I wrote about 5 total between Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, because Martin Luther King. So I had some time to do that. So I just, sat down and took those days to really just get in that creative space. And that's really, really helped me to be able to just focus in. And I was talking to Mikayla about this the other day. I tend to be what I call an information hoarder. So I get all the updates. I'm in the women's health dietetic practice group. I'm in the pediatric dietetic practice group. And then I get the daily emails from the academy, and I'm oh, this is an interesting article. And then I put it in a note that I'm going to come back to later and all this stuff. And so I have all this information. So it's almost sometimes it'll get to the point where I have all of this information and I'm I need to write a blog post on this and this and this and this. So it really helps to just almost word vomit it all out and just say here's all of this info. Let's get it out into the world. And so it's no longer, it's still in my brain, but it's no longer bouncing around in my brain write me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cassie, what are your office hours like? What does a day kind of look like for you, most normal days with your business?
So right now, I am still working. I actually work at it's called Eat Right Philly. And I work through, it's the Philadelphia school district. So those are I call it my day job. So that's 7 to 2:30. Which are great hours, honestly. It's perfect. Yeah, and I get all this days off. It's really dreamy. It's great. And I'm doing that for now. And then I come home and I do, do content creation. We have a couple days. We like to specify specific days, So usually like Tuesday, Thursdays, or, so depending on, client availability, but we try to keep it to a couple days a week where we sit down and we'll just do like client calls and, work on that kind of thing. And then other days, I'll do, like today we have, the podcast, but then I'll also do, either write a post or I'll interact on our Instagram or interact on our Facebook. And, I started doing a lot more of like into the Pinterest, and I use Canva and do a lot of infographic creation. I love Canva. It's like actually the best ever for creating content. And doing a lot with Pinterest. In the last week, actually, I've been doing a ton with Pinterest because its algorithm is so different from that of Instagram and Facebook, and that it just is so much more straightforward. It's like, if you post consistently, you will get more viewers, versus like Instagram. It's so convoluted that it's just like, maybe this person will see it. So I've been really liking that. And, just like, different things, I'll, try and make sure I get a workout in, every day, or at least 4 to 5 times a week.
Good for you.
Just because it gets tricky, but yeah, I really do. Yes. I really like interacting on our Facebook group and the Pinterest. And, again, like a lot, I really, really have come into my own with this content creation thing.
That's great. Mikayla, how about you? What does a day look like for you?
Well, mine's a little bit more different, a little more unique, but I'm a DJ, and so that's my other job. And then my dad, he actually has a business himself, and it's a silent disco rental business. I don't know if you ever heard of silent disco rental.
I have. We have them in Des Moines. They're so fun.
Yes. So he rents them around the country. So I work on Mamas Maternal Health full time, but I also currently am helping my dad with his silent disco business, but I also am DJing on the weekends. So,
oh my gosh.
So that's me. But I love
you two
DJing.
Are amazing.
Fun, so.
Yeah. How did you get into DJing?
DJ? Well, my dad is, so the reason why I have the entrepreneurial bug is that my dad has always been one. So a 9-to-5 job is not normal to me. Like truly, it's just how I didn't grow up like it with whatever. So my dad has been a DJ his entire like working career. So I started, helping him when I was like 10, literally. And so it was like my lifelong internship. So it only made sense for me to do it myself. So I DJ weddings and like bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and, birthday parties, all those different kinds of things. So, and it's such a creative like outlet for me. So I love it.
Oh my gosh. See, now I love you both even more. I mean, I did before, but now I love hearing like those other sides of what dietitians do, because we're not just all doing dietitian-y stuff like all
robots.
The time.
Celery and whole grains. Celery
and whole grain. Cassie likes to be creative and do lots of fun, cool, like graphics and stuff. And Mikayla's a DJ. I like it. Well, I think what you both are doing as a business is fantastic. And I love that, like you said, there isn't a lot of prenatal stuff out there. I don't feel like there's a lot of lactation stuff out there either as dietitians.
Oh, definitely right.
Yes, I wrote 2 theses about it.
Didn't you present at Fancy too?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Did that go well for your poster session?
Yes, it went super well. I connected with a lot of other RDs, and I think it, kind of connected with them and related to them, and that, especially some of the ones that are RDs. And also, lactation consultants. I met, a lactation consultant for CHOP, and she was like, yes, like RDs are not, she's like, I have this whole team of RDs and none of them want to be do lactation stuff. I'm like, come on, like, let's go, you guys. It's infant nutrition. Like it is in our scope of practice, but it should definitely be something that we emphasize so much more, because it's part of the life cycle, and it's literally nutrition.
And it's not only like part of the life cycle, it's literally the beginning of our next generation. Like it's like pretty important. And we just are like, Like, it's very important. And like the genuine intelligence of our population, like, relies on our infant nutrition. And it's just, we don't like, when you think about infant nutrition in such a powerful way like that, like, it's, you just stop and you're like, whoa, like, why have I been, like, what have I even been focusing on? Like, it's just, the impact is unreal. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Well, and you're right. Like, there's not, and we don't get a lot of that in school. I mean, there's not a lot of that in school. Right. It's not really like you go over a chapter, like, okay, well, now you learned it. Now we're good. But practical application and seeing it in the real world is usually only at WIC, and you don't really talk about it any other time. So yeah, it's interesting.
Girl, you were speaking. You were literally just like, are you reading my thesis? Are you reading my article? Because that's basically what
it is. Yeah. Well, I think it's awesome. I love both of your ambition. I love both your energy. I mean, if I will definitely link both of you into the show notes, because I think as maybe dietitians listening to this can reach out to you, talk to you about things that you're doing and how you got started, and also your education and your lactation consultant education, which is very important, as well as that maternal health education is something that we need more of. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Gosh.
Okay, now I have to ask you both the hard questions.
Okay.
We'll start with Cassie first, and we'll just bounce back and forth to Mikayla. Right. So, Cassie, tell me some foods that you enjoy.
Oh my gosh, all of them? No, not all of them actually. But so one of my favorite things is probably tacos. I would say tacos are definitely up there, and side note, I also make cakes. So I really love baking, and I love desserts. Like, I love them a lot. Every food fits.
You make cakes. So is that like I make like a Betty Crocker cake, or you bake from scratch cakes? Like awesome cake.
Like awesome cakes. Oh my God. No, I do gluten free and dairy free, and sometimes I'll like experiment with some vegan stuff just because it's halfway there with just take out the eggs.
Sure.
And I do like I decorate cakes. I can do like
she's very, very good.
2-layer, 3-layer, 2-tiered, all that stuff. It's fun. It's fun for me. It's
you are so creative. Yes, that is such a creative outlet. Wow.
Thank you. Most people have never called me creative before, so thank you.
You are creative.
Oh my gosh. Mikayla has made me feel creative. She's helped me. That's why we're perfect for each other.
Oh, that's so good. All right, Mikayla, what's your foods that you enjoy?
I really like a good pad see ew Thai food. Really like Thai food. Yes. And what else? I enjoy Cassie's tacos specifically because her tacos, she has really good guac and salsa. And I really like a green smoothie. I know that's very dietitian, but I really like a green smoothie. So there we go.
There you go.
Well, that's the next question. So what beverages do you enjoy? So Mikayla, green smoothie would be one of them. Any other beverages that you enjoy?
If we're going into the adult beverage realm, I do like a hard apple cider. I really like hard apple ciders.
What's your favorite brand? Yeah. Do you have a favorite brand?
I like Angry Orchard.
Yes.
Angry Orchard is my fave. But good. What else? I really like seltzer water, like just a little bit of bubbly.
Very good. Cassie?
All right. So beverages. I have a couple, I guess. So in the non-adult beverage category, obviously like water, but kombucha and chai tea would be like my kombucha. Mikayla really got me into kombucha, so I'm going to give her credit for that one too.
We'll add that to your list, Mikayla.
We'll add that to your list. Chai tea, and then for adult beverages, I do like a good red wine, and then I also really like Angry Orchard pear cider.
Oh, yeah, that one is good.
It's a good one.
Mikayla, do you have any scents or smells that you enjoy?
I love the smell of apples. I really love the smell of apples. Like my favorite candle is the apple one. It's in my room right now. Oh. Apples. I also really like anything that like the scent of baked goods. Those are my scents. Flowers, no. Has to be flowers.
Okay. And Cassie?
So I really I have like my diffuser, which also Mikayla got me into. But so I really like to diffuse rose and lavender, but I also really like a good salted caramel candle.
Oof.
Yeah, that's delicious. Yeah. Essential oils are awesome.
Right?
They are.
Yeah. Mikayla, you're up now. I'm getting mesmerized by salted caramel candle.
Right?
What type
I'm
of
sitting on my desk right now.
you? Yes. Since you're a DJ, this is a great question. What kind of music do you enjoy?
Oh, well, I'm a Zumba instructor also. So
Oh my God.
Latin music is like, love it. Cassie and I, we studied abroad a couple times to practice Spanish. And like we studied Spanish for about 5 years. And we both love Latin music, like with a big LOV. Big time.
Awesome. That's a good answer. Cassie, how about you?
Yeah, so that's one of the things we like bonded over was like the Latin music, but definitely like some good Latin music, some good salsa to like move your hips to. And then I guess like on like the regular basis, I would probably just listen to, I'm not as like musically diverse as Mikayla is. She like knows all of them and like gets mad at me when I don't know like songs that I should know.
Listen, not mad. It's just a moment to educate,
Yes.
There you go.
So I have gone through like music school like crazy, but I probably would just listen to like outside of, usually I just like play my music from my phone, which is usually Latin music. But like, or just like, today's hits pop.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Try to stay hip and cool on what's
right. Exactly. I know. I like have such a tendency to like fall out of like what's going on.
Me too.
Who's who?
Me too. And Mikayla, what brings you joy in life?
Aw. Building relationships in every form. Friendship, like loving, all of relationships are like what I hold dearest to me. I love relationship is just really beautiful to me.
Wow.
That's a great answer. Cassie, you have to follow that up now.
I know. I was going to say, one, I'm going to cry.
She's like, pink.
Like, what am I going to know, right? Like, what am I going to say to that? Oh God. Okay. So what brings me joy in life?
Yes.
Wow. I mean, I like simple things. I really like I've been really starting to really like getting into like nature and just being outside and being one with myself and one with nature. And I know that sounds really like hippy dippy, but, but then also I really like sharing knowledge and, like I believe knowledge is power, but like it's only power unless you're able to share it. So I really like sharing knowledge.
That's good. A really good answer too. Well done.
Good. Wow.
Thank God.
Well, I have absolutely enjoyed getting to know you both better, and having this conversation was so fun. It's always, you never know what's going to happen on a 2-3 person podcast. So you guys rocked it. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Wow. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Yes. Thanks for being on. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with the ladies of Mamas Maternal Health. If you're interested in what they do or how they're doing it, please go over to the show notes and connect with them through email and their website. Remember to be great always, find the joy in each day, and to start a conversation that truly matters.